Hi, I'm Antonia, and I am the host of the Working Moms Playbook. Here, real moms share real stories, building businesses while battling infertility, hitting breastfeeding goals without sacrificing their careers, finding their style as new moms, and so much more. And it's just season 1. Let's jump in because let's face it, moms don't have time to waste. Today, I am so excited to be joined by Lisa Broderick, who is an IBCLC. During this episode, we're going to talk about how her journey in lactation consulting began with her own struggles as a new mom. She opens up about the challenges she faced, the gaps in medical education around breastfeeding, as well as the misinformation that so many parents encounter. She also shares why longer maternity leaves, workplace support, and access to IBCLCs are so critical for moms, regardless of whether or not they are new or if they are seasoned. We're also talking about the real benefits of breastfeeding, the hidden challenges like how birth control can affect supply, and her practical tips for stress management and pumping success. This is an honest, empowering episode for any mom navigating feeding choices. Let's dive in.
I became an IBCLC after having my daughter and having a really horrible time learning how to breastfeed and not getting good help and having people shove a can of formula in my face when I had so much milk that I got mastitis 3 times and nobody listening. And I knew I had plenty of milk and I couldn't figure out why I had a baby who wouldn't latch and just couldn't get the help. And I kept going to a Little H Elite meeting in South Philly, and that's who helped me.
Oh, wow.
By just saying, just keep going, just keep trying, keep trying. And I did.
Yeah.
Until we got it. And it was life-changing and the best thing I ever did. And then I was so mad that I had to go through this for no reason. I saw it as completely misogynist and part of like the patriarchy of healthcare. And so it just changed everything. And I was like, I want to help people. And because women shouldn't be talked to like this.
Yeah.
They should be encouraged.
And I think when we first started, something that really stood out to me, like when we first spoke, was the fact that in my mind, the lactation consultant in the hospital should be able to just like get me going and be good. And I always knew that I wanted to see someone afterwards too. But you had said like, you just like cross-reference things with me because sometimes it's not necessarily correct information. And it kind of opened my eyes. And I knew it a little bit already because I had friends who had babies and they had said like, consultant at the hospital almost ruined my breastfeeding journey. Like they had said that multiple times to me. I've had at least like 5 people who have said that to me. And I don't know why it didn't click until you said something to just cross-reference. And I know there's probably some people who really like have a passion for it and they know what they're talking about, but then also there's some who don't. And it's so important to be able to have someone to educate you and help you along that breastfeeding journey so that it's not as complicated. I mean, it's almost been made, I feel like, more complicated than it really is, right?
Totally. And people don't know the difference between an IBCLC, which stands for International Board Certified Lactation Consultant. That's who I am. Because there's no regulation saying who can call themselves a lactation consultant. So there are pediatric offices, for example, who say they have a lactation consultant on staff, and they don't.
If they aren't the certified lactation consultants, then what are they technically called?
Some are called a CLC, which stands for Certified Lactation Counselor.
Okay. Which
means I went to a class at the Hyatt one weekend. So an IBCLC, when I sat for my boards, I had 3,000 clinical hours.
Okay. And does that...
Now, I had more than I needed.
Okay.
But you still need between 2,000 and 2,500. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Right? So first you want that. So then you have your clinical background. But then not everybody's going to be good. It doesn't mean, it's kind of like you can hire a plumber and they can suck.
Right.
So instead of just like letting your pipe leak all over your house and saying, screw it, I'm never hiring another plumber, you get another plumber until you find a plumber who knows how to fix your pipe.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And people have this idea of, I'll go to the pediatrician and ask for help. Pediatricians get literally no breastfeeding education at all.
Which was so shocking to me when you told me that.
School. None.
That was so shocking to me.
Nurses get a little whisper of it sometimes. In nursing school, most do not. So they don't know anything. And so 9 out of 10 times, people's bad experiences in the hospital isn't the lactation consultant, it's the nurse.
Okay.
And they don't know the difference.
Okay.
But you also have to understand that there's plenty of people who go into it like, I don't know, who are lazy.
Yeah.
They have a nursing degree. Oh, well, I'll become an IBCLC because then I won't have to do nights. But they don't care about breastfeeding.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, well, then they're not going to be that good.
Because they're just doing it. It's like a copy and paste versus actually having a passion.
Right. And so, but again, it doesn't mean like you should give up.
Right.
Or not find a good lactation consultant. They're out there. You just need to know how to advocate for yourself and know that pediatricians are not going to help you.
Right.
At all.
And I feel like having the idea that breastfeeding can be simple.
Of course.
Yeah. Like it can be so simple. I mean, my breastfeeding journey has been like fairly simple. And I know not everyone like has that, but I do feel like listening to some of my friends' stories, some of it is quite literally because of like what society has built out, making that journey no longer simple.
Totally.
Yeah. So then that, of course, leads into the workplace, right? I mean, we all have different maternity leaves. I'm lucky enough to work from home, but like a lot of my friends had to go back, and a lot of women do. So with that in mind, when it comes to breastfeeding and going back into the workplace and having to figure out that whole situation, in addition to everything else that you have to figure out when you're a mom and you're going back to the office, what is your, I almost want to call it like a foolproof plan or your go-to plan for moms when they come to you and they say, I have to go back to work.
Yeah.
I still want to continue breastfeeding. I don't want to lose my supply. Like, what do I have to do to accomplish that?
Understand the law. Understand that you have a right to pump as often as you need to. You have a right to privacy. Take as much time as humanly possible before you go back because you're going to need it. And don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
Like, I think too many women, again, this patriarchy thing, right?
Yep.
Why do we live in this supposed advanced country where we have totally inhumane maternity leave?
Yeah.
It's disgusting. We should have at least 2 years off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And because if the WHO is recommending 2 years at a minimum for breastfeeding, right? There's a reason that we're not breastfeeding our kids into toddlerhood, which we should be as a public health issue, right? And that's make it easier for women. So if they know they have to go back to work, know that you have the right to pump wherever you work. That is the law.
Yeah.
Like your boss cannot tell you no. So you got to know that and advocate for yourself. And just, you know, if you start pumping once or twice a day, 2 weeks before you go back, you're going to have plenty of stash.
Okay.
People don't need to worry. People freak out. Oh my God, I got to pump for 3 months. No, you don't.
Well, because there's all on social media, you know, all the moms are like, I have deep freezers filled with 400 bags
Which
of
is
milk.
obnoxious because that's kind of like.
It's not really realistic.
Analogy. And it's ridiculous because all that time you spent hooked up to a pump, you could have been with your kid.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of pump time.
Frankly, would be a lot better for you and your kid.
Right.
And all you need is enough to get through the next day.
Yep.
People put all this pressure on themselves because we live in a society that is ignorant about breastfeeding and doesn't support women.
Yeah.
It's that. So if women really understand, I need enough to get through a day, right? Because when you go back to work, you figure you're out of the house 9 hours. You're away from your baby 9 hours, let's say. Then you want to pump 3 times in that 9 hours, right?
Yep.
That's going to keep your supply. You're replacing what the baby would be taking. That's what's going to keep your supply up and without a big hiccup. So people just need to understand that and not put so much pressure on themselves.
Right.
Like, oh my God, I'm never going to have enough. Yeah, you will. You're replacing what the baby's eating. That's why if you have a day or 2 at the most, right, you have more than enough.
Right.
Because if your kid is eating 3 times and you're pumping 3 times, there you go. There's tomorrow.
Right. Then you have it all set up.
And that takes all the pressure off of women. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. So then the next step really, which I feel like was one of the biggest challenges for me.
Yeah.
I have a very understanding boss, so that wasn't necessarily what I was lucky. I was lucky enough to not have to run into the pressure of like, go faster. You don't have time for that. You can't pump. Like, my boss has been very understanding, but what I run into a lot as a challenge is having so much to do that in general I blank and the day goes by. And now I have to like really, when I'm at the office, I have to like remember. to like take a second and like go in the room and pump, and I can bring my computer and like do work while I'm doing it. But like, I have to remember to go do it, because otherwise I look at the clock and it's been like 5 hours and I haven't done it.
So set a timer.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to advocate for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Would you say that's like really the biggest challenge that a lot of women face when they go back?
I think they're afraid, and they don't be afraid.
Yeah.
The only way we're going to change our society is to demand it. We need to take our power back. Women being able to take care of their babies well is a human right. Breastfeeding and human milk is a human right. We need to change our mindset around breastfeeding. It's not a nice thing to do. It's a human right. People need to really see like real numbers, that numbers like the risks of not breastfeeding, right?
Yeah.
Are real. And that will get people to push harder.
What are some of those risks?
That it's riskier to not breastfeed than to not use a car seat.
Oh, wow.
Literally. So if you look at the numbers, there are more deaths because the number one risk for SIDS is formula feeding. I don't get pushback. but it's a number, it's a fact, it's data. So
that's what we're here for, to bring all of this to light.
And people may not like that, but it's the truth. But I think if people just accept the truth, then we can get over this hurdle. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, breastfeeding's beautiful. It's empowering. It's the best thing you can do for your own health. The best thing you can do to avoid breast cancer and ovarian cancer is to breastfeed for a good 2 years.
God,
right?
It's such a war against women, isn't it? Always. Always.
That, like, why? If breast cancer, and I mean ovarian cancer, most people don't even know they have it until they're stage 3 or 4, and then you're dead. That right? They call it the cancer that whispers.
Yep.
If you breastfeed for, I believe it's 39 months in your lifetime, so that could be 4 kids or 1 kid, right? Your chances of ovarian cancer go down 92%.
I mean, that's a huge statistic.
It's huge.
Huge.
It's insane.
That's like a let that sink in statistic.
Exactly. That's what I think. Yeah. Your breast cancer rates are cut in half. I mean, to me, this is like a no-brainer. And why don't we encourage women to know these facts, protect their own bodies? I mean, here's, almost every client I have, I put it in my intake form now because it's become such a problem. Do you have a plan for birth control? Because every woman I talk to, or just about every woman I talk to, they are pushed toward birth control in the hospital right after they gave birth, which to me is absolutely ridiculous. And then they go back for their 6-week checkup. And then the first thing, well, you need to be on birth control. What are you doing about birth control, right? And here's the thing, because of the lack of education about breastfeeding in medical school, they all say things like, oh, it won't affect anything. Of course it does. I've never had a client who took hormonal birth control. The hormones get in your milk. Do you really want to feed that to your baby? And for the vast majority of women, it negatively affects their supply. Wow. And so to say to women, oh, it won't affect anything, when it does, again, why aren't we just educating people with reality? Because if you breastfeed the way we're supposed to be breastfeeding, right, which is not giving formula, which is not going longer than 6 hours at a time, right, you're not going to ovulate right away. I mean, human beings aren't supposed to have back-to-back kids. Our pelvises are too narrow, and pregnancy is really hard on advanced primates' bodies. Right? And our pelvises are narrow than our gorilla, bonobo, and chimpanzee relatives. Yeah. They have wider, squatter pelvises, so giving birth to them is a little easier. And they have the exact same breastfeeding rates as humans are supposed to have if we are left to our own devices and not part of culture. And if you look at human cultures, where culture hasn't ruined birth and breastfeeding, it's exactly the same. People all breastfeed for at least 2 years. It's very rare for a kid to wean themselves under 2 years. Yeah. It happens, but it's not the norm. And the average weaning time is 4. So I think the reason for that is we sexualize breasts in this culture, and we've had 100 years of formula companies undermining women and telling them their bodies don't work and their milk is no good.
And now with the added part of almost pitting women against women too, in a way where we're not, like, I'm sure there's going to be pushback right here, right? Where, like, don't demonize the formula. Don't, breastfeeding isn't, like doesn't make you the hero, right? It's like the hero terminology. Like there's always in motherhood in general, the victim mindset of like women be women if you don't make the same decision. And if you really get past that surface and you really look deeper, all of these cultural, societal things that we have put in place, like the formula companies, like you just said, and the fact that the workplace is really hard to be a mom and be able to do these natural instincts that we have, like breastfeeding and work, and still be able to produce and still be able to be a good mom and a working person in general. It's like all of that is what pits.
It's fear.
Yeah.
Women are fearful of saying what they want, right? In a lot of things, not just breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Super uneducated about breastfeeding. So women don't feel empowered to push for what's best for them and their babies, right? And it's just not right.
And everyone's very defensive because of it.
Be. And I think a lot of that is fear, because women are scared to give birth, right?
Yeah.
And women are scared to breastfeed. It's just lack of education. I mean, look, when I was born, there was no car seats.
Yeah.
Okay? When you came home from the hospital, your mom held you.
Which is so crazy to think about.
But the thing is, like, nobody was chastised. That's just the way it was. Okay? So we went through a period in American culture of extreme ignorance and misogyny in birth and breastfeeding. We're still in it. But its height was like mid-century. Okay, well, I'm not going to fault moms for not breastfeeding, but we know better now.
Yeah.
Right? I always compare it to a car seat because to me, they're both public health issues.
Okay.
Of course you use a car seat because it's dangerous not to. So we need to get to a place in our society where we're like, of course you would breastfeed. Right? And then people say, well, there's lots of women who can't. And to that I say, BS. Most women can breastfeed. Most women stop breastfeeding because they don't know where to go to get good help. Right? It is so rare that a woman literally can't make enough milk.
Okay.
Right? There's always a reason why you have low supply. Once in a blue moon, somebody legitimately has low supply. But again, this goes back to our culture, right? If we're really supporting breastfeeding, then that woman who's taking an anti-seizure medication or had a breast reduction, or the rare occurrences where a mom legitimately can't make a full supply, should have access to human milk for an affordable price, right? Why do we as an American culture have this garbage in a can? Because it's cheap and it makes formula companies billions of dollars. European formula doesn't have corn syrup. It's the first ingredient in American formula. Why? Because it's subsidized and it's cheap and they make a bigger profit. That's why obesity rates are so much higher in formula-fed babies. They don't learn portion control because of the way people bottle feed, and it's corn syrup. It's like, it's so unhealthy.
Yeah.
So we need to, as a society, really look at breastfeeding. Stop looking at it like, because I think women look at it as they're scared that they'll fail.
Yep.
Right? And stop. Don't be scared. Do it anyway. Like when you learn how to drive, it's scary. You do it anyway, right?
Yeah. You get behind the wheel. You do it anyway.
And if you're having trouble, you find an IBCLC, not your pediatrician. You find an IBCLC, and if you go to the IBCLC and you don't feel like you got what you needed, go to another one, because most IBCLCs take insurance, right?
Yep.
So that really shouldn't be a big issue for people, but people need to know where to get help.
So then with that in mind, there's obviously been some progress in the workplace when it comes to breastfeeding.
Yeah.
But there's still a long way to go. Long way to go. Especially when it comes to creating like that cohesive, supportive community for women in the workplace so that we can do both. What, in an ideal world, like what would those next steps be that you think are so pivotal that we would need to really help support moms in the workplace?
A minimum of a year off paid on-site daycare, so you can go down and breastfeed. If it's a larger company, so you have several people going on maternity leave at once, have an IBCLC come into the office once a week to help people.
Well, that's a great idea.
That is what we need. I mean, that it does exist in many first world countries. There's a reason why we're the bottom of the barrel in maternal death rates and infant death. I think Americans are super arrogant, you know?
Yeah.
Like, on the rare occasion that I do get a mom who legit needs to supplement with formula, because I look at formula as a tool, right? You know, a baby needs to eat. And if a mom is having a hard time getting her supply up in that interim, we need to supplement, right? 100% of the time, I recommend European formulas, and I have a little list of formulas that I like because they're healthier.
Right.
Because American formula is just crap. And you can get it online.
Yeah, that's easier.
Right? And the only reason American formula is garbage is money.
It's always all about the money.
It's all about the money.
For them to like get it right in like quick steps, what would that mean?
Like I said, really good maternity leave. Women need time with their babies.
Yeah.
Human infants are incapable of self-soothing until they're at least 3. So at the beginning, we live in this culture, right? So your baby needs you. So to push women to separate from their baby is not only harmful to both parties, right? It causes great mental stress for both mother and baby. You can so easily alleviate that.
Yeah.
And you're going to have more loyal employees. And so ultimately, the bottom line, right, because it's America and everything's about $1, is that if you give women the tools to succeed, they will be more loyal to you. They will have less sick time. Their babies will have less sick time. And therefore, they will be more productive for you and make the company more money. And people need to see that. It's really that. It's enabling people to be together longer. Is really super important.
So that would probably be like the one, if you could change one policy like that, that would be it. Like longer maternity leave.
Yeah.
Yep. That way.
Longer maternity leave paid without misery. Without threat of losing your benefits.
Or having someone else waltz in and be better at your job.
Because I feel like a lot of women always have this kind of threat hanging out in the back of their head. And people should feel secure. Like, we're producing human beings, right? Don't we want to make securely attached, healthy, happy human beings? We need to enable people to parent.
What would your advice be for handling pushback or insensitive comments? Not only from coworkers in the workplace, but I guess it could just be in general, because we experience it from friends. We experience it from family members. We experience it in the workplace. What's your advice for handling that pushback?
The pushback from family members is going to be super different than anything in the workplace.
Okay.
Generally in the workplace, people don't care. Or if they do, it's somebody who hasn't had a baby yet and is just ignorant.
Yeah.
And ignorant doesn't mean bad person. Ignorant just means uneducated, right?
Yeah, I think that's important to emphasize. Yeah.
And so they could say uneducated things that sound judgmental. That's different than your mother or your mother-in-law wanting to hold your baby all the time and say, well, let me feed him, right? Or telling you what to do. Why are you doing that? I didn't do that. That's where boundaries come in. And women, I think, are really shocked by, oh, wow, my boundaries kind of stick. And it's a really good lesson in, like, set your boundaries. It's a good parenting lesson because here's the thing. If your mother-in-law is giving you a hard time now, that's not going away. And they're still going to be chatting and giving you all kinds of unwanted advice when your kid is 10. So it's a really good opportunity to say, listen, thank you, but this is how I'm parenting. And this is what I'm doing. Thanks. And if they don't take that as a step, then you go to step 2 and say, listen, you got to step off. This is good for my baby, and this is good for me, and this is my decision, and we're happy about it, and I need your support. And if you can't be supportive, away with you. I mean, it's really important.
Yeah.
So, look, my own mother, I kicked her out.
Of your house?
Yeah. She was going to stay with us for 6 weeks. And I think I'd been home from the hospital maybe 4 or 5 days. And she was so obnoxious with why are you doing that? Look, you're crying. Obviously, trying to breastfeed is making you miserable. Just give her formula. What is over and over again? It's so undermining, right?
Yeah. Because
it can be challenging at the beginning. It's a learned skill. Again, we are primates. We are advanced primates with a big, giant brain, and we're super social. We learn how to breastfeed. We're not goats where you drop the baby gets up, walks over, and nurses, right? Advanced primates, it's a social activity.
Yeah.
Birth is a social activity with advanced primates, as is breastfeeding. Other, knowledgeable females in the group of primates teach you how to breastfeed.
And you have to learn.
And so, again, if women know this, they don't feel like they're failing. They don't put so much pressure on themselves to know how to do it, in big air quotes. Because, of course not. You need to be taught how to do it, and that's okay. There's a learning curve. And after you give birth, your hormones crash. Of course you're crying. You're tired. Parenting is hard, whether or not you're breastfeeding. You don't get a lot of sleep, right?
Yep.
At the beginning. And if people are just kind of open to that and surrender to that, things would be so much better for them.
I think
We're trying to control it all. You can't.
Yeah, and getting rid of wanting to be a perfectionist 24/7.
Right.
Yeah.
And so as grandparents, aunts, other people around you, it's just very important for women to just, do your best to feel confident in yourself. You're making the right decision. This is what's best for your own health, your baby's health. And that's it. You end up with women who give up and then feel all this guilt about it. And then they get really defensive and hostile toward breastfeeding. Don't want to even try with their second kid. That's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really, really sad because it's one of the most beautiful things that you can do. And, if you have a body that's capable of making milk, it's like a miracle.
Yeah.
And so to not be encouraged and supported to do that is just a crime.
So then I guess 2 final questions. One that's a little bit more listy, as you could say. For those moms who are going back to the workplace, what do they need in their arsenal to be able to make that easy?
So I know everybody's jumping on the bandwagon of the hands-free pump. The thing about the hands-free pump, this is a good question because people don't know to look for this. I'm going to give a plug right now to Spectra because in my opinion, they have the best pump on the market.
Okay.
It has a 12-volt motor. So all pumps will list on their pumps what the motor is. And I encourage women to, when you're going to register for a pump or get a pump from your health insurance company, which you should be able to get a free one from health insurance, look at the voltage because a lot of the hands-free pumps have a 5-volt motor. So the idea of being hands-free is great, but the motor is so weak that for a lot of women, they just can't keep the supply up.
Yep.
And so it's the motor is the most important thing in a pump.
Okay.
A 12-volt motor is the same as a hospital-grade pump.
Okay.
So if you can get a pump with a 12-volt, the higher the voltage, the better.
Okay.
So that's what you want to look at. And if you have a job that is stressful during your pump times, for example, if I get a doctor or a nurse who has to go back to work and do 12-hour shifts, and they're in the ER, for example, right? Something that's really stressful. They already need to say, I gotta go and go pump, right? So that's hurdle number 1. But I always recommend that they put in headphones and either put on a really gentle meditation music. There's an app called Insight Timer. If they download Insight Timer, all moms, you can get meditation music. You can get, 10-minute meditations for free. And just put that in your ears, put a video of your baby in front of you on your phone and pump. So that your eyes are being filled with your baby, your ears are being filled with calming sound. That's going to calm down your central nervous system and you're going to get a better pump. And you'll get more results.
All right.
Because you're not thinking about, oh my God, I got to get back to I got to blah, 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 blah. Right?
So in the arsenal, Spectra pump.
Right.
Or something that is the same.
And during your 15 minutes of pumping, you want to be super present. And so being present means look at your baby because that's what your body is going to respond to, not necessarily the pump. Our brains respond to our babies. So when we look at our babies, our prolactin goes up, oxytocin, hence we get more milk.
Right. But
and when you're pumping, isn't that the goal? Right? Yeah. So, engage with your baby on the phone when you're pumping.
Okay.
And it makes it less stressful during that pump session.
All right. So Arsenal, the pump, the Spectra, something similar.
Yeah.
Earphones.
Motor. Like the higher voltage, the better.
Okay. And then earphones, Insight app.
Yeah.
Videos and photos of your kid.
Yeah.
And that's what you need.
Yeah. And just like lock in and be present.
And to lose fear and to lose guilt of like all things. Because there's like guilt of not being fully present in your job and feeling fearful of not being good enough anymore, right? Once you become a mom and you have to do both in the workplace and being a mom, there's always that fear. Like you'd like let all that go in order to really
let all that go, and also realize that we have made this society ourselves, and we can unmake it. We've made this economy where we have to have two incomes for, all the time, where we can unmake it. We can make it a parenting friendly society if we prioritize it. And I think we should, because both sides of the aisle politically claim to be so pro-family and so pro-baby, and yet they're constantly pushing legislation through that's the opposite. And that's not a Republican or a Democrat thing. That's America, and it's bad. But we need to demand it.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of goes back to people don't understand how much power they have.
Thank you so much for listening to the Working Moms Playbook. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with another mama who could use a little extra support or a reminder that she's not alone. And if you loved today's conversation, it would mean the world if you took a second to follow, rate, and share the podcast on social media. Every share truly helps creators like me grow this community and reach more incredible moms just like you. Until next time, remember, you're doing better than you think, and your village is right here.